Welcome and opening the March 13th, 2025 Planning Board public hearing. Since we don't have very many people here, I don't have to go through the security and safety rules. So we'll just have a roll call, please.
Chair LaFaro.
Present.
Vice Chair Finnerty is absent. The Secretary is here. Board Member Mutu.
Present.
Board Member Neely.
Present.
Board Member Fulham.
Present.
Board Member Glazer.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please join us for a Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have one item on the agenda tonight, the Bridgehampton Commons Target, and we have sufficient notice, Council? Great, thank you. And so let's read this into the record, Tom.
Okay. Please take notice that in accordance with local law number 14 of 2022, a public hearing will be held by the Southampton Town Planning Board on Thursday, March 13th, 2025 at 6 p.m. at Town Hall, 116 Hampton Road, Southampton, and via video conferencing to consider the pre-submission conference entitled Bridgehampton Commons Target. The application is for a reconstructed truck loading dock, signage, front facade changes, bollards, and parking lot associated with a 91,035 square foot retail space within an existing shopping center situated on a 13.7 acre parcel located in Shopping Center Business Zoning District at 2102 Montauk Highway, Bridgehampton, Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-83-1-22.1.
Thank you. Floor is yours.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. For the applicant, Brian Kennedy, partner with Forcelli Deegan Toronto with offices at 100 Motor Parkway, Hauppauge, New York. Now, it's been well documented that the applicant, Target Corporation, will be entering into or has entered into a lease to occupy the former Kmart space at the Bridgehampton Commons Shopping Center. For those who may not know, Target is a national retailer known for bringing quality items to consumers at affordable prices. They currently operate almost 2,000 stores nationwide. Target intends to occupy the entire 91,000 square foot space vacated by Kmart. The new Target store will include a CVS pharmacy within and a Starbucks within the site. This Target location will be smaller than most Target locations that we are accustomed to. Targets generally range in size from 120,000 square feet to 150,000 square feet. This will be smaller, but it will provide the same high quality experience to customers in the area. Now, prior to occupying the retail space, Target needs to make certain site improvements to meet their high standards. Now, as part of the site improvements, Target will make minor modifications to the existing parking lot. These include the addition of a pedestrian walkway in front of the store to the parking lot. 10 drive-up stalls will be installed at the front of the parking lot. And currently there are 2 cart corrals at the site. Target is proposing to add 2 additional for a total of 4 cart corrals at the site. The 2 additional cart corrals and walkways adjacent to the drive-up stalls will result in a loss of 6 parking stalls. The site already benefits from a parking waiver that was granted to the applicant, to the property owner by this board in 2019. The loss of the stalls will have a minimal impact on the site. The site currently has 543 stalls. What we are proposing is an improved design that will provide 537 parking stalls. Now, in addition, the drive-up stalls will dramatically improve parking at the site. I'll skip my piece on that. Ethan Shakowski of TPD Engineer is here. He'll speak to you briefly about that. And at this time, I'm going to ask Alex Holloman, who prepared the site plan. He's with Bowler Engineering, just to take you guys briefly through the redesigned site plan.
Thank you, Brian. Good evening, Chairman and members of the board. My name is Alex Holloman
civil engineer from Bowler, here to speak on behalf of the applicant. I will review the general scope of the applicant's minor exterior improvements. Something to emphasize is no major changes to the building structure, site layout, site access, site utilities, or similar site features are presented with this application. However, there are items proposed. In the back of house area, the existing rear loading docks are proposed to be refurbished with minor grading changes such as new high-strength concrete and minor curb walls. The existing trash compactor adjacent to the new refurbished loading docks will be replaced in kind along with a new associated structural concrete pad beneath it. In the front of the building, the parking area will be improved with new enhanced pedestrian safety features, new spherical bollards along with a front walkway in addition to crosswalk striping that is in front of a new depressed curb directly in front of the new storefront. A new on-site subgrade grease trap system is proposed to service the new Starbucks proposed within the building. Minor parking lot changes are also proposed, which will result in 6 stalls lost, 2 additional cart corrals, and 10 new drive-up stalls with adjacent standing room area for team members. No changes to parking lot access or drive aisles is proposed. New building signage and parking signage is proposed. And lastly, architectural facade changes are proposed, which will represent the Target brand. These were presented to Town ARB and approved on February 4th. With that being said, we feel that one item that should be delved into more depthly is the parking items and the drive-up stalls, in which case I'd like to ask that Ethan come up and speak to that point.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Ethan Chikoski, TPD Engineering, formerly Atlantic Traffic. So we have prepared a parking study that's to be submitted, I believe, as part of the ZBA application. So we took a look at the proposed changes to the parking layout. The board has talked a little bit about this with the board earlier, but for the record, I'll kind of go over the changes from that traffic circulation point of view. For this public hearing. So the major changes being the cart corrals and the drive-up stalls. So we're losing 4 stalls with cart corrals. Cart corrals obviously have a huge benefit to a site like this. It gives a place for customers to put their carts, obviously, and that just reduces the number of carts throughout the parking field, which if you don't have places like this to put them, they end up blocking stalls anyway. So it's really better to have centralized spaces for them to go. And then, of course, the drive-up parking stalls, which it's a fairly new concept, but it's very common across brands. As we shift from traditional retail, going to the store and walking around, to online shopping and mobile ordering, you'll see this across multiple brands. Target has a good system in place for drive-up parking stalls. They have an app. You place your order on the app before you go to the store. You'll get a notification when your order is ready. You drive to the store, you park in one of the 10 drive-up stalls, and through the app you let them know that you've arrived. And an employee will run the products out to the car. The reason we actually even need to lose stalls at all is with Target's current standards for the layout of these. They provide walk-up aisles in between each stall, so it's just a safe place for the employees to go and get out of the drive aisle, so they could deliver the purchase to the customer. So it's really just to add that safety benefit for the drive-up stalls. They do increase the efficiency of the overall parking in the parking field. Traditionally, as I mentioned, you find a parking spot, you walk in the store, you walk around, you buy your goods and you leave. Nowadays that takes average 20, maybe even 30 minutes or longer. People, of course, still do that, but it's a lot less than it used to be. And with the drive-up operation, research from Target tells us it takes on average 3 minutes to turn over those stalls. So if you look at the turnover time for each stall, 20, 30 minutes compared to 3 minutes or 5 minutes, you're able to turn over more cars and free up the parking for customers. For this particular site, we did look at the parking demand. We received this application in, I believe it was December. Traditionally, when I have an application in Southampton, I like to collect data in the summer. But given it's a shopping center, we decided to look at the peak demand during the December months. So typically we avoid that high traffic period because it's not the regular demand you'd see at a shopping center. But we actually went out there a few days before Christmas. We went out the 21st of December, Saturday before Christmas, which is not what we typically do. But we felt that given the higher demand you see in the summertime, that would be a conservative evaluation of the shopping center to look at it during the increased shopping period at Christmas. So it was busy during that time. I'm just going to run through a few numbers. I know this board likes numbers. 543 stalls on our site here, but that's just within this lot area. If you look at the overall shopping center, it's closer to 1,200. I counted 1,235 for the total center. So if you look at the layout of the site, obviously to the east, all that parking is sort of centralized, and we're about in the middle of the site where there wasn't much demand because the stores are currently vacant. And then there's more stores to the west. On the west side of the Target building, there are some storefronts along this side. So there was some parking demand over here. If you look at the overall demand for the center during that peak holiday shopping period, we found that a total of 665 parked stalls, which is about 53% of the center, which makes sense if you account for the fact that this big, large portion of the shopping center is currently vacant. We then looked at the parking demand for the proposed Target. We looked at a few different methods. We looked at Institute of Transportation Engineers parking generation. We looked at land use codes for shopping center. We looked at land use codes for a discount superstore, which is, freestanding discount store, which is what a Target or a Walmart may be. And then we also just looked at the observed parking rate. So how many, per 1,000 square feet, how many cars were parked there based on occupied space at the time we did our data collection. That was about twice as much as the ITE rate, probably because we were a few days before Christmas. So when we projected our parking demand for the Target, that's what we used. We used that rate to be the most conservative. When you take all of that into account, we projected with the Target a total parking demand of 971, which would be about 79% of the total center. So with all that said, it's my professional opinion that there's sufficient parking on site. I think the cart corrals and the drive-up parking are improvement to overall parking efficiency at the center. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Well, we did spend considerable time with you earlier today, so I think we asked you lots of questions and got answers then. This is for the public, so. Is there anybody on Zoom, Kevin?
Only person on Zoom is Ken with them. We
We have
Oh, Ken.
Ken McQuaid, architect for Target, available on Zoom should this board have any questions. We also have Donnie Lowe, a representative of Kimco, the property owner, here if the board has any questions.
I think we,
No questions.
I mean,
We spent a good chunk of time earlier.
earlier today, that's for sure. Are there any further questions on the board? Because we're quite familiar with the application. No? Okay, so we're ready to, there's no one here, there's no one on Zoom. We'll close with a 30-day written comment period, no, a 30-day, 30-day written comment period. It's pre-submission. So motion, Kate? Motion by Kate, second by Gloria, and all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, 6 in favor, 1 absent. Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you guys so much. Are we still live? I would
Yes.
just like to thank the board and the town for helping expedite this process and being so accommodating as we've moved through this thus far.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Good night. Motion to adjourn. Motion by George, second by Tom, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, 6 in favor, 1 absent. We are adjourned.
Okay.